I didn't really have a plan to participate in GMTK. I hadn't finished any projects during the summer, and the promise that I made to myself was that I'm just gonna have a good time. I'm gonna take it easy, and I'm gonna just get something done. And whatever it looks like, it's okay. So when the theme was released, my brother and I did the thing that we always do. We do a brainstorm little call, and we were just like coming up with really dumb ideas like we normally do. Very early on, my brother had this idea. There's this like cursed DJ who's playing Darude Sandstorm on a loop, and you have to like stop playing it. That led me to look up the music video for Darude Sandstorm, and I just noticed that I'd never watched the whole music video, and it was just so fun. Then my brother started talking about this other music video, Freestyler, and I was like, oh my god, I just love the energy of this, I love the vibe of this, and I just felt like we should follow this, whatever that means. As we were thinking about these music videos, we started talking about music, and we started talking about DJs, and like creating beats, and then we thought, well, what if the sounds that you were making corresponded to movement? And so you had to move a character from one point to another by creating these loops that then you played back. So you recorded a loop, and then you played it back. And then there could be obstacles, there could be different beats that you had to create, and so on. And that's when I created this little drawing. And it's funny because that drawing actually has much of the vibe of the final look of the game. In this moment though, we felt like something wasn't quite there, that there was something that was missing. And normally during this phase, I'm like super stressed out, but because I had this sort of like feeling of I'm just gonna take it easy, I'm just gonna be chill, I was like, you know what, maybe we'll figure it out, let's just kind of go with it. The day after, we started really gearing into making like a playable prototype of the game. I was just making drawings for the different poses, which was probably the most fun part of the project. I'd drawn this character. I remember like 2 years ago, I first drew him dancing in a bunch of different poses. I just felt so excited finally to have this project where I was like, oh my god, he's found his home. But as the day went on and I was imagining this game, the more I realized this game involves a lot of waiting. You're waiting to create the beat at the right moment, and there was a lot of delay in terms of player feedback. The player wouldn't know that they'd made a mistake up until they pressed play and had the whole sequence run out. Another issue was, what if the loops that the player was creating didn't sound cool? A huge part of this, why I wanted to do this, was because I wanted to make something that felt rhythmic, that felt cool, that felt like it was fucking funky. I thought, what if instead we provided them with the beat and all they had to do was follow it and then choose the direction in which they would move. While the sort of like structure of the beat was predetermined, how it would sound could still differ. I really wanted to have this record system where you recorded a loop and then played it back, but for this particular idea, I felt like we were able to sort of sense that it wasn't going to work, and we just trusted that. And as soon as we created that first prototype and we put in some sounds, we knew that there was something cool here. One of the things that we most struggled with in the making of this game were the levels. We wanted it to sound good, we wanted it to feel good, and we wanted it to look good. You know, at first we were thinking that we could have levels that were varying sizes, we would have a million obstacles, we could create loops that were different lengths, but then as we went on, we just noticed we have to constrain the shit out of this. We have to make the grid so that it's only 3x5, the loops have to all be the same length, only a few types of obstacles, and even with that, there were still so many decisions when it came to making the levels. We definitely wouldn't have had a finished product if we hadn't set those constraints. Constrain yourself. Since that first brainstorming session, watching those music videos, listening to music from my childhood, drawing this character that I really loved, a lot of the decisions that we were making were what feels fun to us? What do we think is cool? What do we think is cool. And that went as far as the design itself. You know, after you've played the game like fucking 500 times, everything just feels really static. So we added this small camera shake to the movements, and then immediately I was like, damn, this feels fucking good to play. Then we were like, oh, it doesn't feel satisfying to complete a level, so I added this little sound effect to it. And even as far as like getting damaged in the game, we didn't want to feel like we were being punished. Max created this like little rewind effect. And then suddenly I was like, I don't care if I'm being damaged, because it like feels good to be damaged. What I found to be really rewarding in this project was that I was able to bring so much of myself to it. I was able to bring so much of my interests. As a kid, I used to like create little beats, like I would beatbox. Recording myself dancing is inspiration for the movements, and giggling to myself, doodling. It was like a capsule of a lot of my interests. These past few months, maybe even past year, I've struggled to have fun creating things. I put all this pressure on myself. I'm very quick to be like, you know, this idea is never going to work. It sucks. I can't do this. I'm like, don't know what I'm doing. Blah, 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 blah. Here, by like having that attitude from the very get-go, I'm just doing this to have a good time. It really helped just like shape the entire thing and made me like not panic when something wasn't working. Letting go of the bad, letting go of not bad, but letting go of the not as good idea. Not being attached to the first idea. Having big constraints, because you will always have more decisions and things to do than you think you will. And then following the fun, the things that you love, and making it an experience that you think will be fun. And obviously, like, you might not be able to get there in a few days or even in your first few projects, but if you keep trying, maybe at some point you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I like this. This is fun. This is me. This is me. I'm so thankful for anyone who's played the game, anyone who left a comment, anyone who left a rating, and so on. And to Mark Brown, hosting this whole event. It's fucking insane that almost 10,000 people in the span of 4 days created and released something, had the courage to put it out and to share it and to hear what people think about it. I had such a wonderful time playing the other games, and here are some of my favorite that I played during the jam. I think I'm done. Oh my god, my legs.